All right, guys, week two. This was an incredible week to start off with. Some of these week one games were incredible. We had some really great games. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I actually went 5-2 for my picks. I picked five winners and two losers. Well, I didn't pick the right ones. Um, the first one that just blew my mind was Mississippi State. Mississippi State came into Death Valley and beat the defending national champions, which was crazy. It was an insane game to watch. It was a ton of fun to watch as well. Bama beat Missouri. We kind of figured that one was going to happen. Florida came in and beat Ole Miss as well. Kind of figured that was probably going to happen. We saw some really cool things with Lane Kiffin's offense, but we'll just see how well Florida can keep rolling this next week. Auburn managed to beat Kentucky. They kind of struggled in the first half, to be perfectly honest, but they came on and ended up winning that game, and we kind of figured that one was going to happen too. Like I said, I picked LSU to beat Mississippi State. I was wrong. Should have had a little more faith in my dogs, and they ended up winning in Death Valley, and it was a great game. It was an absolutely insane game. Tennessee went into South Carolina. South Carolina actually ended up with the loss. I almost said South Carolina ended up with a win, but that was wrong. That's who I picked to win. Tennessee ended up winning. So that was the other one that I got wrong. Georgia beat Arkansas, which we kind of figured was going to happen too. And then, of course, A&M beat Vanderbilt. But to be perfectly honest, Jimbo Fisher and A&M kind of struggled with Vanderbilt. But we saw a lot of struggles this week. It's the first week of the new season, and different times and everything like that. But we'll just see how well these teams are going to roll going into this next week. It is going to be absolutely insane again. Lots of really good games that are going to happen, and we'll see how well I fare with these picks for this next week. So getting right to it, South Carolina travels down to the Swamp for Florida's first home game of the season. It's going to be loud. It's going to be insane. The Swamp always is, especially when it comes to the Southeastern Conference. It could be anybody's game. I'm going to go with the Gators for this one, though, just because they showed us just how good Kyle Trask is going to be this next year with Dan Mullen, kind of as he's known as that quarterback whisperer. So we're going to see if they can keep that winning streak going. Missouri goes to Tennessee. I looked for the Volunteers to bounce back with this one. I think Tennessee is going to do really well this week, and hopefully they can get that home win at Rocky Top this weekend. Next is A&M at Alabama. I'm just going to go ahead and say yikes. That is always just an insane stadium to play at. I do believe Alabama's going to come away with the win for that one. Texas A&M is probably going to be able to hold their own, but I think Alabama's going to come away with the win for that one. Next, you've got Auburn at Georgia, the Deep South's oldest rivalry. This is always such a good game. And if Auburn can play the entire game against Georgia the way they played the second half of their first week game, it could be interesting. I'm gonna go against the grain maybe a little bit. I'm gonna say Auburn's gonna win this one. It may not be by much, but we'll see. I think Auburn Tigers are gonna come away with the win at Georgia, but we shall see. Arkansas comes down to Starkville where they play Mississippi State. It's first home game of the season. Davis Wade is always a rocking environment, especially during the SEC. I look for it to be exactly the same way, and I think the Dogs are going to come away with another win and improve to 2-0 for the season. Last game we have on the list is LSU goes up to Nashville to play Vanderbilt. I think this is going to be LSU's bounce back game. They always do really well in Nashville. I think this is going to be the bounce back game for the Bayou Bengals, and I think LSU is going to come away with that win for Vandy. Vandy is probably going to give them a run for their money, but I think in the end, LSU is just going to outlast them, and they're going to win in Nashville. That's what I've got for this week. A little bit of a shorter video, but not quite as much content. Tell me in the comments who you think is going to win each game. I'd love to see what you guys' thoughts are about this, and we'll see who's right, and we'll see you next